the first route that I'll show you is going to be a low to high for Drydock. And when you're doing this route, a thing to note is that I like to start it above the cliff, and that's because when I'm coming in down right here, I can pick up a lot of speed, and also the same reason right here, I go as high as possible. So that way when I'm coming in for the landing right next to the tower right here, which I'm zooming in right now, that way when I land over there, I'll pick up a lot of speed, and that way I can get a quick flag grab. And also the thing to note about this route is the fact that any decent sniper can easily pick you off. However, the advantage of doing this one is the fact that if you can get away with this, LD has almost no chance of actually catching up to you. Now the exact same route, except this time the third impact nitron will be used to show you that it is actually possible to do it like this. And the return route is the exact same thing, so I'll just go ahead and skip it. And now the final run, and for the final run I'll be using the explosive nitron instead of the impact nitron. And I don't really have a preference because both of them get the job done equally well for this route. However, I do have a preference for the map, and that's the explosive nitron. And the reason I like the explosive nitron is because of the fact that when you're starting your routes, there's going to be a lot of hills to distract you, and you can fire off your two explosive nitrons much quicker than if you were to fire off the impact nitrons. And that's why I like to do these routes on this map with the explosive nitron. And for this route, the return is pretty much the same thing, so I'll just go ahead and skip it. Now the next set of runs are gonna be for the high to low side on the Blood Eagle team, obviously. And when I'm doing these routes, I prefer to do these with the explosive nitrons because I travel much faster on this side with them. And also, this route technically has two ways of doing the flag grab. The first one being where you go down the cliff, which I'll show you in this run, and the other ones I'll show you when we get there. But that's why people do this route every now and then, because there's technically two ways. So if you get spotted on one side, you can just go and pretty much delay yourself to help out the offense a bit. You pretty much delay yourself by approximately 4 seconds. And technically there's two ways to do the return, one of them being where you thrust away from the wall. You want to thrust away from the walls because if you end up hitting it, what happens is that every now and then it has a pretty high chance of just stopping you dead in your tracks. You instantly hit 0 when you touch it. And now the exact same route, except this time the explosive nitron gets used instead of the impact. And this is so you can see just how fast I travel. And for this part I like to go as high as possible, and the reason I do that is because when I come in down here for the landing, I have a lot of speed, and that speed helps you do a pretty nice flag grab. But that speed is going to be pretty much useless unless you thrust towards the flag, because if you don't thrust, you're pretty much just going to completely end up missing the flag altogether. And this is the other return route that you can do. And now here is the pretty much almost the exact same route, except this time you do the sneaky grab that I was talking about a few minutes ago. For this one, I also recommend doing it with the explosive nitron instead of the impact. You want to thrust towards the flag, and that's because if you don't thrust, you're gonna end up going all the way to the other side of the cliff and just completely miss the flag. And now the final run for this route, and I'll be doing it with the impact nitron, and it is pretty much the exact same route. Now the reason I start far back is because this will give you enough time to fire off your two impact nitrons and your disc, and it'll pretty much just get you to the same speed as the explosive nitrons gave you. Remember to thrust towards the flag, you don't want to miss it completely. Now this third impact nitron is mandatory because this will give you enough speed to actually do a decent flag grab, and it'll actually put you in a decent speed. Now the next route is what is known as a fake pub route. Now the reason people call it a fake pub route is because if you were to do the pub route, what would happen is that you would end up completely missing the rock which I will hit in just a few seconds. But basically you completely miss that rock and you just go above the hill and you pretty much do a pretty long return. Now the reason people call it a pub route is because of the fact that because of its retardedly high return time, people don't really like to do this for skill games because any LD can easily catch up to you. And this rock bounce that I'm going to hit is going to come in just a few seconds. And it's this one right here. And I prefer to do this route with the explosive nitron instead of the impact, because the explosive nitron will give you this route at a much greater speed, and also you can't really fire off your third impact nitron because you won't have your health regen completely back by then. So now for this run, I basically tell you what keys you should be hitting at what time, and those keys that I'm telling you, you have to hit them. You can't touch anything else unless I say it. At this point, just hold down W and A and your ski button and a small bursts of your jet. That way, so you can approach the rock with a bullet sort of formation. If you approach it with too much of a curve, what happens is that you either just go through the rock like it doesn't even exist, or you just hit it and then go flying up in the air.